again, for online or for our class arrangements, we will have 2 hours na lecture, and then after that, you will be given 3 hours to conduct classes or to go to the laboratory, something like that. So that is supposed to be how we are going to go and conduct our classes if we are given the chance to do a full face-to-face class. Again, 2 hours lecture, 3 hours laboratory. So I'm pretty sure some of you already know about that. Now, what will happen if we will be doing a limited face-to-face class? That means, here's what we're going to do. Here's what I am proposing to do. Mag-conduct tag klase online magyapon for at least 1 or 2 hours. And then, mag-schedule ta of time, day and time, to go to Campus 1 for our laboratory lessons. Okay? So, ano lang, for the meantime. So, right now, we will still be doing online, but once we get a face-to-face class or limited face-to-face class, that means we will conduct an online class for, let me write it down. So, we will still limited Okay, so once we'll be doing our limited face-to-face class, we will conduct 2 hours na online class. And then we will schedule a day and a time to conduct our laboratory class in NORSU. So we still don't know how long will it take. Unsa kataas ang schedule para sa tuwa because again this is limited and aside from the time being limited, the laboratory, the population or the people that are allowed inside the laboratories are also limited. May required ng physical distancing for about 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters. So, imbes nga pwede tang magdaghan sa laboratory, dili pwede. Dapat gamay rights because of the social or physical distancing. So, we will schedule a time. Let me write it down. Schedule a day and time for lab lesson. So what are we going to do once nanata sa computer laboratory? So I will no longer do the discussion. Dili na ako mag-discuss ana, it's because i-discuss naman nato daan sa online class, di ba? So since nag-discuss na sa online class, once we go to the laboratory, di na ako kinalang mo discuss, you'll just go proceed with your activities. Proceed naman sa activities and then I will be there to supervise you on what to do. Supervise na lang ko pero di na ako mag-discuss kaya masayang atong oras. Gamit ng laboratory just for discussion, di ba? Am I understood? Klaro lang? Okay, alright. So that is, go ahead, any question? Okay, alright. So that is the plan. Hopefully, matuman na if nanatay limited face-to-face class. So for the meantime, we'll still do the online learning. So the same thing, we'll be using Google Classroom, Google Meet, Google Form, Facebook, Messenger, etc. for us to be able to conduct our classes. Next is the learning management system that we'll be using. So we have Google Classroom, Facebook, etc. So what exactly are LMS or learning management system? We already know about that. So basically these are software applications used to plan, implement, and assess learning process. In other words, it's like an online classroom. And unsa nga LMS atong ginagamit for the past couple of semesters? Unsa lang ganito? Unsa inyong hinungduman? That's right, Google Classroom. Okay, so we'll still be using Google Classroom as our main LMS. But we'll also be using some support from Facebook Messenger, and YouTube. So the LMS here is just the Google Classroom. So that's where we'll be doing our assignments, assessments, projects. Since the best way, or as we all know, the best way to contact the students or to communicate with each other are through Messenger, because Messenger or Facebook Messenger is free. So that's why we'll also be using Facebook as a support platform for our online classes, as well as YouTube. So para gaasagana in YouTube, that is where we're going to upload our pre-recorded and online lecture so that you can watch it at a later time. So para pwede mo mutanaw at a later time or perhaps mo review mo sa inyong klase, since this is web development, balik na kung tag coding, so you can always rewatch it on YouTube. And since YouTube is free for smart users, I'm not sure for Globe and other networks, but if you're going to register for smart, let's say katong go serve something, it's YouTube na kay 2 gigabyte for YouTube every day. So I think that's very useful, or 1 gigabyte rather, especially for those who are just using mobile data. So that's why we are using YouTube. Alright, so again, Google Classroom, that's intended for assignment and projects. And right now, we'll also be including our assessment. So, ang problema sa una kay assessment, if you can remember, we're doing assessment in mga limot na gani sa links. So instead, I am going to include assessment activities in Google Classroom. Good morning. Again, I'm going to include assessments in Google Classroom, but that will still be using Google Form. Okay. And then again, Facebook and Facebook Messenger are for announcement because again, that's the best way to to have a communicate with each other. So make sure to install Messenger on your phones. And then here's the link. So has everybody joined in our Google Classroom already? Naka-join na ba na? That's good. So for those who haven't joined, also go to the registration. Just click on join class and then enter this code. This is for section A. So I might want to take a screenshot now to make sure. And then for section B, connect. So same thing, copy the link or enter this code under the join class tab sa Google Classroom. Alright, so for Messenger, katong wala pa ka-join sa chat group, just copy this link as well. Uy, sa'yo pa akong nabutang sa section B. Sorry. Okay, sa section B is Google Classroom na link, but it's okay. Naka-join na ba tanan sa mga chat group sa both sections A and B? Naka-join na? Naka-join na tanan guys sa mga chat group? Sa GC? Alright. Okay, that's good. So if you have any personal concern, just reach me out through my personal Facebook account as well. This is an account for specifically for academic purposes only. So pasensya na lang kung gamay if medyo madugay ko respond. It's because medyo daghan kayo matabunan na siya ba. Yeah, talag sara ko maka-time para mo scroll kanang makita na ko tanan. Then usap ako maka-reply. But anyway, this is my personal FB account. I'll try my best to cater all your concern, but pasensya if medyo madugay ko na. And then again, our pre-recorded and live lectures, like what we are doing right now, will be uploaded to this YouTube channel. So you can just copy this or visit this website, you'll get there. And you can watch all the pre-recorded and live lectures that we've done in the past. So if kanan mo mag-advance na learning about web development 1, na apoy playlist dito that contains all lectures about web development 1, you can watch it if you like. And then that's it. So I would really appreciate it if my student, since this is more on coding na pod, I would really appreciate it if my students are going to have an advanced learning. Anyway, I'm going to give you the list of topics, and then if possible, pwede nyo mo advance mo study so that once if kuan na ta mo gamit ng mga computers or something like that, it would be easier for you. Makaasab ako that some of you will do, or at least you will have an advanced study. Pwede ba na? Possible ba na siya na ang mga students mag-advanced study sa ilang topic? Possible ba na siya? Type 1 on the group chat. As a chat, type 1, if you say that it's possible for students to go and to perform an advanced study. Type 1 in the message. Nadungog ko guys or putol akong tingog? Okay. Again, if it's possible for students to conduct or to do an advanced study, please type 1 on the messages. One, there is a message na sa Google Meet. Okay, that's good. All right. Okay, so yes, it's true. You can always do an advanced study since we have very limited time when it comes to conducting classes. And since napamata sa balay karon, so there are tons of times for us to be able to do not just in programming one or I'm sorry, web development one, but all the rest of your subjects as well. Okay, thank you. All right, so here are the things that we are going to learn. Here are the topics. Here are the list of topics that we'll be doing with web development one. We have the World Wide Web. So that contains list of subtopics like the internet and the World Wide Web, classification of websites, how the web works, the web browsers, the domain name system servers, web servers. So basically, these are the things, or these are these are the things that makes a web or World Wide Web work. So every time that we're going to go on, every time that we are doing our every time that we are going to, like say, visit a website, a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen simultaneously. So, diba, every time nga mo visit a website, usahay mo take on time para mo load. Why is that so? Because of these things. Because of kanini nila tanan. Sometimes it may take a little while for it to load. Sometimes fast. Sometimes dili gyud gani mo load. Sometimes dili na to ma-access. Why is that so? Because of this, and we will learn that in our very first topic. And then next is we'll have the internet protocols or IAP suite, and then anatomy of a URL. This one is just very short topics that we're going to conduct, and once we're done with that, hopefully we'll be able to do this before midterm, and I think we'll be able to finish it before midterm. And then after that, we'll start with our front-end technologies that includes hypertext markup language or HTML. We have cascading style sheets or CSS and JavaScript. Kinsay naka-familiar aning either of these three? Kinsay naka-try or naka-experience or familiar with these three? Type 1 in the comment, or type 2 in the comment rather. Right, again, for kinsay familiar with either of these three, the hypertext markup language, the CSS, or JavaScript. Kung kinsay familiar na, please type 2 in the chat. Okay, that's good. Alright, what specifically, can you share, can anyone, pwede kong ask to share us with your experience with either of these three? Let's start with Losterio. Can you turn on your microphone, Losterio, and can you share with us how is it this three is familiar to you? Losterio, Johnny? Go ahead. Sige, can you share with us how this three is familiar to you? Sige, Pia, may problema. Sige. Mhm. Okay, that's actually correct. Okay, kaya nga naman, asa makaka-experience na before? That's good. Okay, that's good. So that's an advantage of having an IT nga strand, right? Advantage of doing an IT strand and then proceeding with information technology is that you already know the basic. At least you already have a foundation on how these front end technologies work. Kinsa pailain? Kinsa ganahan mo share with their experience with these? Kinsa pailain? Sige, go ahead, Miss Costello. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's true. Asa ka kaya slay ana, Miss Costello? Nana mo yung web development. Isang subject? Okay. So basically, Sir Bernard already introduced to you the concepts of web development. So that's good. So it wouldn't be very hard for me then to teach you guys since I already have. Thank you, Mr. Kosalem. So I'm glad to hear that because you already know. At least maybe some of you already know how to work with this. So it won't be very hard for me to do so. Okay. Thank you, Sir Ben. All right. All right, that's good. So that's all true. The markup language. So just to give you an idea, markup language from the term suggests markup. So whatever it is that you type, so basically it's just a text file. But however, that text file doesn't really describe what your website is gonna look like, diba? Text ra gud imong gibutang. Text ra gud imong gibutang. How come that once you run that text, it will turn into something else? So that is what markup that is what markup means. Sakto ba ang grammar? So again, when say markup, by definition, it is something that kung imo siyang i-type, doesn't really reflect on how let's say, your website or your design is going to look like. So it's just a series of commands that is used to set how the website is going to look like. So that is markup. The CSS will allow you to control on how those HTML elements will display. So, di ba? Sa markup language, mura siya og sab kung maggama kag balay, right? So, kinsa tong na mga architect or engineering knowledge here. So, kung maggama kag balay, di ba? Unsa imong unahon? So, you will start with the foundation. Okay, you will start with the foundation. Makuno na foundation ko no. Alright, so mo na siya. That is the HTML, the foundation of a website. Then what would be the CSS? So the CSS is katunang what makes your website look good. Ug unsa gani a CSS will be used to control how this foundation is going to look like. So you can either add bongbong, pwede kang mo add og kawang, bintana, sa ito gani, truss ba ito gana? Top. Okay, pasensya na akong drawing. Alright, so basically that's the function of CSS. Controlling on how your website is going to look like, or controlling how the markup language that you enter is going to look like. Diba? So mura siya designing na part ang CSS. And then JavaScript, that was Lusterio. Yes, it's true. Since you already added the design, this time you're going to add the functionalities of those design to make it more dynamic. So if building it og gama pa kag balay, it's like adding appliances in your house. Add ka og saman. Sofa, add ka og refrigerator, TV. So basically, it's just make the house a little more pleasant to live in. So that's what JavaScript is all about as well. And when it comes to building a website, it will just make the website a little more useful, a little more kanabaganing mas nindot siyang gamiton because the contents are dynamic. We'll talk more about it in the future, but basically that's the idea of the front-end technology. So that's what we are going to cover for the entire semester. We'll start with the hypertext markup language, cascading style sheets, and JavaScript. Now, once we already know how to work with this, kung makabuild na tag website, if we can absolutely build website using these three, then that's the time that we are going to start with front-end frameworks like Bootstrap. Anybody have an idea? Does anybody have an idea what Bootstrap is? Type 3 in the comment. Okay, ako Salam, can you share with us? In Salam siguro, what do you think is Bootstrap? Okay, that's true. That's correct. Thank you, Miss Pasalam. Bootstrap is a framework that contains that contains CSS, HTML, and JavaScript libraries. That means you nanas lang mga pre-design, nanay mga pre-designed or pre-build na mga contents like what Mr. Pasalam said, like tables that are beautifully designed. Kidesignan siya maayo, and then all we need to do is just copy those codes or copy those resources and apply it on our website. In that way, we don't necessarily have to build the entire website by coding. Okay? But ngano sir, if pwede din na ngano magkinalan pag tamo balik sa HTML, cascading, and JavaScript, it's because obviously we still have to learn the basics. Since this is web development 1, the fundamentals, we need to learn first about the basics for web designing before we can actually use the ready-mades na. Because unsa yung pag-fix ang Bootstrap? If na problema ang Bootstrap, how are you going to fix it if you don't have any knowledge with HTML, CSS? Diba? So we need to learn first on the hard coding, kumbaga, before we can use the frameworks. Because this is the easier way, the Bootstrap. But what if there are problems, or how are you going to customize the Bootstrap if you don't know anything about the front end? So that's why we have to learn them first, so that it would be easier for us to use any front-end frameworks, not just Bootstrap, but there are tons of frameworks available out there. But perhaps the most used and maybe ang pinakagamit na sa NORSU is Bootstrap, and most web designer uses Bootstrap. But again, this is not just the only framework available. There are tons of frameworks that we can download, and we'll talk more about it in the future. And then, of course, after that, we will have our finals. And my expectation is that we'll be right right before we end the semester, everybody will be able to build their own personal website. So that's our goal for this course. Each one will be able to build website. It's really useful because, to be honest, guys, web designing is one of the most pinaka grabe jud nga high on demand gid guys when it comes to working online, or maybe online or any other creative companies. Web designing or UI UX designing is one of the most pinaka kumbaga in demand. And then if you want to earn a little bit more, you have to learn programming languages like PHP, MySQL. I'm sorry, scripting languages rather, like PHP, MySQL, so that you can develop website, and then you'll get paid even more, diba? But UI UX designers is one of the most in demand. And then we have graphic designing or marketing. So that's what I'm doing right now, graphic designing. But again, we can also, so basically that's the reason why we have to do this, so that it will prepare you guys to, since nag-IT man lamang dyan mo, so let's make use of being an IT and perhaps develop a skill that will karaganing muhatag na to of proper income in the future ba. So even if you're still studying, you can pwede mo makapangitag trabaho if you already know what is or how to design a website using these topics that we are going to take. All right. So do you have any questions with the class arrangement, or I'm sorry, the course summary, or do you have any particular lesson that you would like to perhaps be removed or to be added? If na magani, you may share it with us, but if none, let's type 4 in the comment. If ni agree lang tanan, let's type 4. Okay, agree na tanan. Okay, that's good. So again, if you have any clarification with the topics, or maybe na po ipa-add, just let me know. Alright, so now let's talk about the class arrangement. So how often are we going to conduct our classes? Or how are we going to meet? So we already did this before. So it will be the same thing. So we will conduct a synchronous class that's going to be live through Google Meet, the one that we are doing right now, at least once or twice a week only. But right now, medyo maglisod ko sa twice. It's because I'm working now as a full-time graphic designer online, and my schedule is in the afternoon. So we'll talk about it later on as well, so that we can reschedule our daily classes. So most probably we can do it once to twice a week. Once a week lang. However, we'll do it 2 hours. As much as possible, we will have 2 hours of um, online class. 2 hours. It's because if you can remember, sa ato ang prospectus, dapat 5 hours kani, 2 hours na discussion, 3 hours laboratory. So we'll just use the 2 hours for discussion only, and then I'll give you the rest of the week for to study on your own or to work on your activities on your own. And then if there is no synchronous class, that means if dili ka takandak o klase online, I will upload a pre-recorded class to my YouTube channel, and the assessment activities will be followed. Alright, asa ganin sila pwede makita? Asa nato ni ibutang atong assignment or assessment activities? Anyone? Alright. Okay, that's right. So, in Google Classroom. Alright, taking the assessment activity. Okay, just in case if dili ta kandak og klase, taking the assessment activity on time will credit your attendance for the week. So, for example, I cannot conduct an online class for the week, then I'm going to upload a recorded lesson, and then the assessment activity, if you're going to take it before the deadline, then it will credit your attendance for the week. Ana lang. And then the learning assessment activities, quizzes, examinations will be done through Google Form. But this Google Form will be uploaded in our Google Classroom yapon. So if you're going to visit our Google Classroom, you will find some assessment activities, and then that is where you can find a Google Form. So para ang hitabo mo gud tong mga previous semesters, gilahit na ako ang Google Form, mga wala ang links. Ako po maglisod ako pangita sa mga links. So ano lang. So all of the learning activities will be posted in our Google Classroom, including the assignments, assessment activities, and through Google Form. And obviously, like we've always been doing, assignments will be posted through Google Classroom. Alright, and this is the channel, YouTube channel. And then the course requirement. So same thing, we've been doing this for quite a while. The attendance is going to be 10%, assignments 20%, learning activities, assessments, that's 20%, projects is 20%, major examination is 30, total of 100. So far, I haven't been able to wala jud ko ka pagama og projects in my classes during the pandemic. It's because wala ko mahunaw yung project. It's because wala ko gamit kay mata sa laboratory. So instead, unsa nako pag-grade ang projects. So whatever it is that your grade in your assignment will automatically be equivalent for your project for the meantime, guys. Okay. Alright, since di mata ka mag-project because mata ka face-to-face. So that's what I have been doing in the past semester, the past semesters during the pandemic. So kung sa yung grades assignment, then that's gonna be your project. Okay? So karon pa na ako na nasulti, but do you guys agree on that? If you do, type 5 in the comment. Okay, that's good. Alright, thank you. Alright, so giyon sa nato pag grado di ay, giyon sa nato pag sa to kani. Giyon sa nato pag compute ang grade. So maybe you're wondering sir, tagaan ra may gagmay grado nya uban dagko. So this is how I grade di graduhan. Ganan ko ipakita akong class record, pero dili pwede kay naay mga ngalan sa class record in the previous semester, so I cannot. But here's what I've been doing. So for example, you will get 10%, 100% Napatan lang ako, nakay 10 points sa attendance. Perfect attendance kuno ka. So 10, that's for attendance. And then, for example, sa assignment, you get, let's say, 18. And then, sa learning activities, let's say, naka 19 ka. And then, sakto ba ang gibuhat? Ay, no. Okay, erase. So, giyon sa ako pang compute inyong grado. Let me just give you kuan. So ito kanang quick idea on how we compute your grade. Most of us in CSIT uses this grading formula. So it's called the 60 by 40, if you're familiar with that. So you'll be given, every one of you will be given delete times but plus 40. Or hold on. Maybe some of you already know what that means. So your gross times 60 plus 40. So that means ang iyong score i-times siya 60 plus 40. So that means bisag mahagbong ba ka, bisag 0 pa imong score, you already have 40 points out of 100. So dili siya pasar, pero at least na nakay pondong na 40. So for example, ang imong grade is ang imong score for example sa assignment. Okay, let me start over. Let me clear it out. For example, ang imong grade let's talk about assignments. So there are let's say 100 items for the assignment overall. So, and then your score is let's say 95 imong score. So basically that is already 95 divided by 100, so that's 95%, diba? So your score will be sakto ba? Let me check. Namo koy kuananin na koy system anin na koy Excel file ba nga ako na i-type ang grade automatic sa compute. So for example, imong grade is 95. I'm sorry. 100 divided by 95 times 60 plus 40. Okay, for example, imong grade is 95. So that is out of 100 items, naka 95 ka. So imong grade is 95 divided by 100. Then times 60 plus 40. So 95 divided by 100 is 0.95. So that's 0.95 times 60 plus 40. So that is pilaman. 57 plus 40. So your grade is 97. Diba? So if you'll be doing, if 95 imong score out of 100 items, then you'll get 97. Something like that ba? So that is 60 by 40 na system. So that means nanakay bisag 0 imong score, nanakay 40 daan sa imong nanakay kumbaga nanakay deposit ng 40. Although bisag 0 pa imong score. So that's for us, that's pretty fair. Do you agree with that? Agree ba? If yes, type 6 in comment. Okay, that's good. Alright, so that's gonna be our course requirement. So basically these are the things that you have to work on: the attendance, assignment, learning activities, projects, major examinations. Especially the major examinations, there are only 2 examinations, like midterm and finals. So there are only 2, so make sure to work on those guys. And hitabo mo good last semester, I am a little disappointed because there are lots of students who didn't take major examination and expected me to give them a grade. Daghan kaya nag-PM na ako nga, sir, ganun gamay akong grado because wala ka ni take major examinations. Kulang yung assignment niya. I'm a little tired with INC na gyud. As much as possible, I will no longer, unless if kinahanglan na jud kaayo, dili ako mag-INC. So if dili ka kasubmit sa imong work on time, then it's time for me to submit the grades para pod may clearance mo good. If dili ko ma-cleared, wala ko sweldo. diba? So if the university will require us to submit the grades, wala pa kani work sa imong mga kulang, then I have no choice but I have to submit your grade based on what you have. So mo nang tagaan na hugag mga grado kay more may mong gi-submit. So I would encourage everybody to stop doing that. Hopefully this semester everybody will be prompt with their works. Again, we will only be doing two activities per kuan, two activities per week. One for assignment, one for assessment activity. Na question? Ah, sige, go ahead. Gamay grado. Why do you think happened? Nga naman siguro gamay ang grado. Okay, we'll talk about it later, Lusterio, okay? We'll talk about it later. But like I said, when it comes to inana gani, hopefully this time around, everybody will be prompt, okay? Because may taog naara may perme jud. We also have to submit our. This is not for Lusterio only. This is for everybody, okay? For dili lang ni para ni Lusterio, para ni sa tanan. Please try to be prompt next time so that wala tayong mga problema. I don't have any problem. As much as possible, I'd like to help out to all the students because di po gikan oy. So sometimes I know the reasons, I know the cliches, di ba? Sometimes students will give me cliche nga reason. Katuod na guys, ilang maestro dili pud bulayagon sa una. Kabalo ko ano ina na mapalusot. But hopefully this time around aton siya minimize. Okay? So that's it guys for our course requirement. And for our student directory, please fill out this form. I'm going to send it to you guys later on. Please fill out this form. This is also part of your assignment. What exactly do we have in the student directory? Same thing, katong ato mga ginabuhat before. So we'll just review it just once to make sure. So in the first part, you'll be required to enter your contact information. So like your email, student ID number, name, contact numbers. This is very important. And then address, and then link to your Facebook. And you are advised to use your real name on your Facebook account. And then the course, and then the subject. So since this is ITS 300, please select the subject here in the section. And then next would be the student's gadget and internet connectivity. So please select all the available gadgets. So for example, if not desktop computer, personal laptop, so on and so forth, and then device ownership, internet connectivity, and then virtual classroom policy. Please take your time to read lang if pwede. But I will not be reading all of it, but I'll just have to ganara kong i-point out na mga part. Sorry. Okay, kani. We've already discussed it in the previous semester, but ato rin i-review for us to be reminded. Student, okay there. Should the student fail to attend 3 consecutive online classes, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, meaning consecutive sunod-sunod, we will be subject for explanation. We will be required to explain yourself. Why is it that you haven't joined in the class 3 times already? And then, should the student fail to provide valid reason for the absences, the student shall be subject for dropping. But so far, none of it happened pa because we try to be as easy as possible. But again, this is just to let you know that it's possible. Okay, if dili mo katag reason for 3 consecutive absences, it's possible for it to be dropped. But again, di ko ganang mahadlok mo. It's because wala pa man nahitabo. But I'm just saying this is possible because it's in the student guideline. And then the instructor reserved the discretion for the validity of the student's reason for the absences. So obviously, if valid man ang reason, so no problem. And then should the student fail to comply any coursework before midterm, the student will be subject for explanation. So here's the thing. This is what usually happens. If ang student wala jud gigama starting the class up until the midterm, then supposedly you are subject for explanation. So same thing, if dili gyapon ka tag sa explanation, you will be subject for dropping. Alright? And then the students are encouraged to submit their coursework on or before the set deadline. And then that's it. Alright? So I just wanted everybody to be reminded that it's possible for instructors like me, or not just me, but every other CSIT instructors too. If force nila ning policy, then they are perfectly capable of doing so. So just, although I think none of this happened man po, pero at least you'll know that it is possible for them to do so. Ana lang. Okay? So please take this student directory later on. This is part of your assignment. And then here are the tools for web development. So these are the things that we are going to prepare, whether we'll be using smartphone, whether we'll be using laptop device. I'm sorry, laptop or desktop computers. So here are the things that you have to prepare for us for our web development course. Let's start with desktop PC and laptop users. Please install Notepad++ or Sublime. These are just basic text editors. Text editors. However, if ganahan mong mahimong kanang mura jud feel kaayo kanang ganahan mo sa tawag ana, if ganahan mo kanang mas advanced jud like real programmers or web developers, please install hold on. Okay. Again, if these are just simple text editors, and basically we can create websites using Notepad++ or Sublime Text. But if you want more advanced kuan gyud IDE, we will use please install Visual Studio. Alright, so this is free for download through Microsoft website. Visual Studio is an IDE. Unlike the first two, Notepad and Sublime, these are just simple text editors. Visual Studio is an IDE. IDE means integrated development environment. Alright, so basically IDE or integrated development environment is just, it's like a program that will allow us to create a program. So it would be easier for us to mas sayon siyang gamiton siguro when it comes to web development, because it is focused more on web development compared to the text editors. Okay? But if maglibog mo kung saan ni paggamit, just use text editors like Notepad++ or Sublime Text. They are perfectly useful still. And then, of course, please install Chrome or any web browser. But I would suggest Chrome. But any web browsers will do. And then, for Android users, for those who doesn't have any personal computers or laptop computers at home, then please install TrapEdit. TrapEdit is a mobile IDE. So it's still an integrated development environment, but using IDE. So muna siyang text editor still, but it is capable of running your program. So that is TrapEdit. So just go to Play Store, look for TrapEdit, or you can copy this link. And then here, install offline browser. So right now, I'm not sure if this is still available, but ang mahitabo magod, some phones already have an offline browsers, but dili tanan. Pretty sure Oppo, kinsa to na Oppo or Vivo ba to nga devices, nasa lay offline browser. So that means pwede ninyong i-run ang inyong program sa inyong browser offline. Kay ang Chrome dili man, pag i-try na to run ang kanang code sa Chrome usahay sa ubang phone, dili man siya mo run. Ang i-display kay mga text raman. I'm not sure why is that. So try to install offline browser. This is the money icon. And then for iOS users, just install this. I'm not really sure because I don't use iOS, so I'm not sure if this is the right text editors to install, but just try this. Kana for basically our goal here is for us to be able to edit and display HTML codes to our browser. Alright, so additional tools. So basically these are just some tools that will help us learn more about web development like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So for online learning, I found this very helpful. The www.w3schools.com and then tutorialspoint.com. So there are tons of tutorials out there, but these two are the most useful. Para nako is the most useful. And then for mobile app, if ganahan mo practice offline lang, pwede lang di na ka makinig sa internet, then please install Solo Learn. So there are tons of mobile app out there that will help us in doing programming or web development, but this is the one that I found it the most useful. So Solo Learn offers multiple programming languages or scripting languages, like obviously we have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but it also offers PHP, PHP, MySQL, C++, C, Java, etc. So the Solo Learn is mura siya og collection of tutorials about programming languages or scripting languages. So this is very useful, guys. So I encourage you to check it out. And then same thing, Learn CSS. It is still from Solo Learn, but it focuses more on CSS only. So I would suggest to install this on your device as well. Okay, so that's it. Do you have any questions? If none, please type none in the comment. No, go ahead. Sige, Miss Cadano. Ay, oh, sakto. Okay, thank you for reminding Miss Cadano. That's right. My apologies, but I can no longer do an afternoon classes rather. So can we reschedule our class during daytime only? Na pwede mo buntag ra tong klase? Please let me know what would be your ideal day. We only be doing one class at a time, classes as a week. So, but 2 hours. So please select any day of the week and then time that is available for you guys. Let's start with, let's say, Tuesday. Are you pwede mo Tuesday, let's say 9 a.m. 9 to 11. Okay, alright. Kinsay dili available ana. The schedule. Okay. Anyway, we'll be doing once a month. So if we'll say, let's say, if we conduct a class on Tuesday, 9 to 11. Okay, if everybody is free, then that's fine. However, if na mo'y klase, ani na lang, this is what I'm going to propose. If na mo'y klase, anang oras sa line ng subject, please let me know ahead of time so that pwede rin akong i-excuse. Anyway, we will record the class ng pod. We will record our class and then you can just watch it